present professionals, listeners, and learners. I thank, welcome, and respect those who are present today listening with their present sense of mind. 100% present sense of mind provides concentration, and this concentration help us in learning, reading, and speaking anything new in our life. Whatsoever we want to learn, it is possible only by keeping ourselves in present sense of mind. It is said by all our holy religions of this holy land. Technology influencing us, losing our senses, and serendipity. Losing our senses and serendipity. Technology to virtual unreality. Today, technology is dooming us to virtual unreality, blind bodies, blurred, authentic experiences, vicarious and virtual. Yes. Most of let us come back towards how technology is disturbing us, how technology is influencing us. It is expressed by the Times of India from the editorial page. Today you are listening and learning our Indian ways of learning. Sorry for disturbing you. Today the line between the online and offline world is blurred as phones and algorithms mediate more of our daily activities. Most of what passes for authentic experience is vicarious and virtual. The extinction, the extinction of experience, the extinction of experience being human in a disembodied world by the philosophers Christine Rosen reminds us of the value of the physical reality we share. It wasn't always this way. Direct experience is our first teacher. A fighter, the scars, stretch marks from pregnancy, metaphors about a broken heart, or a nosy neighbor. These remind us that we experience things with our bodies face to face. Interaction is how we learn patience and a sense of public space. It helps us conceptualize the shared reality. But now, online communities tell us how the real world works. Consensus reality seems insubstantial as more of us mistrust our actual experience and live in these mental cocoons. Increasingly, virtual interactions to minimize awkward human contact. Airports rely on kiosks to check in, and salespersons are replaced by iPads. We are meant to look at each other. We are meant to look at each other. Our intuition rests on the ability to read faces, physical signals, postures, micro experiences, micro expressions. Encountering each other on screens through text and post deprives us of that ability. Children's first experience of play, music, words might now come from screens. Teachers struggle to hold their attention in real classrooms. Reading emotion and intent need it needs extended in-person contact, a capacity that children and teens are increasingly missing out on as physical playtimes shrinks. Whether is what some technologists call this illusory reality, the sense of having done something virtually without having experience in it is it in real life. We consider ourselves familiar with famous destinations to we are or imagine what we will look like when we age, or even simulate romantic relationships with fictional characters. This means losing out an embodied cognition. We think with our bodies by making things physically, not taking on A laptop means shallow processing. Architects who draft by hand now know the connections between mind and body that they are trading off for the efficiency of computation. We now perform our emotions with names, gift, and emojis. One study found that college kids score 40% lower on empathy than those from 30 years ago, and this decline coincides with smartphone adoption. Tech is also racing to supply what we miss in terms of body cues, sensors and breathing, heart rates, autonomic nervous signals already exist but could soon be a standard smartphone capability. Persuasive tech armed with huge amounts of precise data could manipulate us and subvert our intentions. Even the mediated pleasures of online living, the capacity to experience travel, sex, food, art, music are overstimulating. The book says artificiality, strong explosions of strong synthetic experience habituate us, weaken our ability to notice the less intense moments of real life, which are more like fleeting whispers of pleasure, as public places in cities, pavements, parks, cafes became spaces where we are half in and half out. Absorbed in our phones, we are robbed of serendipity and civic bonds. While such panics have accompanied all new technologies from telegraph to television, the book warns that the digital takeover has had sudden and sweeping effects, and that it is important to recognize what we lose with every experience we gain. Bahubalis, contrapunto, socialist invent class, nationalist invent the nation, and so the populist invent the people. What about Bahubalis in India? In India, daughters-in-law don't just duties. Stopping a wife or daughter-in-law from visiting temples, watching TV, or forcing her to sleep on the ground aren't legally. Purity had Bombay High Court's Aurangabad bench in a dowry abetment to suicide case, equating the dead woman's American family. Judges have the latitude to read the law basis on values, and they are plucked from the very society they serve. So such a reading is unsurprising, for the real community age such attitudes to daughters-in-law remain routine. Beti, Beti, welfareism of several decades ensured Much progress in how far the daughter has come, but it remains a scary thought to daughter-in-law statue. Will the marital home be a safe space or hell? In the marital home, her duties are sharply defined, but her basic rights and needs, if anything, a source of conflict. Her well-being is at the mercy of in-laws' expectations. Suffice to note, studies show the number of grandkids is decided on grandma's preference, where Bahu is less educated than mom-in-law. Popular culture, without cause, recreates the daughter-in-law code of conduct. Obedience, you know, society celebrates Bahu's juggling multiple roles till the last breath. But hey, not a chew of complaint. It is but her dharma to serve us to PM EAC policy briefs on care giving not. Women are coming under extraordinary pressure due to disproportionate burden of care on their shoulders, touching all the right chords, invisible work, calling PLFs, etc. But policy works in silos. Policy works in silos. Desires it rests 100% on control over the daughter-in-law. Is it killing her? Of course it is. But apparently that's right, even for High Court judges. Duns, darlings, waters want to shake up so long as he delivers. The lip commentary all shook by the breath of the Trump wind didn't even get a chance to catch its breath before his selection for key government positions started coming in fast and furious and had them gasping all over again. Some of these picks have a comfortable conventionality, such as Marco Rubio or Secretary of State. Many do not. Tulsi Gabbard, his pick for Director of National Intelligence, says that resistance from the Sun in Washington is to be expected. How long the Trump government will stay on the right side of this anti-establishment tilt will of course depend on how his eventual view delivers on his promises. It will have to square several port pledges such as raising tariffs and reducing inflation. But first, it can enjoy a honeymoon period, basking in phrases like America first and dream team. Before these are put to the test afterwards, much will come down to whether they can keep on Arjun like Fox on reform targets. Don't get derailed into waging war against the critics. Many popular mandate is done in by vindictive neurosis. Meanwhile, the calling out of its candidates' qualifications loses half the crowd when it's prefaced by declaring Trump himself as unqualified for the job. He has won both the Electoral College and a popular vote, convincingly drawn from across all the demographic categories. Insofar as his was 2020 candidacy has been even more disruptive than in 2016, the mandate he has brought is for an even more Trumpian government aided more establishments candidates then, and how that played out would be influencing his decisions now, making loyalty climb much higher on the CV meter. Now, news from the nation. Abuja marks the beginning of this African superpower. Former envoy to convey, former envoy to key African nations argues bilaterally and for increasing India's heft in the continent. Modi travels to a two-day trip to Nigeria capital Abuja starting today. It constitutes the first leg of Prime Minister's transcontinental foray into summit diplomacy, which will also see him attending the G20 summit in Brazil on November 18 to 19 and then visiting Ghana. This trip offers a valuable opportunity to advance India's growing cooperation with Africa and the global south. It comes on the heels of the Indian president's recent visit to three African countries. By picking Nigeria, Prime Minister has recognized this nation's unique significance as Africa's most populous nation and its largest economy. India has enjoyed close historical ties with it, as well as in strategic partnership. However, the relationship is a work in progress, requiring a strong political push, especially as Nigeria is a regional and continental powerhouse. Given its rich civilizational legacy, the Commonwealth connection, and its strong belief in unity amidst ethnic, religious, and linguistic diversity, Nigeria has much in common with India. After struggling with the disastrous civil war and a cycle of military loss, Nigeria succeeded in building a democratic polity from 1999 onwards. The nation admires India's classic path of democracy with inclusive development, drawing it to the country thanks to the excellent work of Indian teachers and traders in the past. The two peoples are familiar with each other, with Bollywood being another factor that has brought them closer. Modi will become the fourth Indian Prime Minister to visit Nigeria after Jawaharlal Nehru 1962, Atal Bihari Vajpayee 2003, and Manmohan Singh 2007. The gap of 17 years since the last Prime Minister ministerial visit is notable, but it was punctuated by the visit of Vice President Hamid Ansari in 2016. The commonalities and complementaries between the two countries make them natural allies. Betting on Africa's economic growth and expanding global profile, India needs to cooperate more extensively with Nigeria, which is a member of national groupings like ECOS and OPEC. India recognized Nigeria's global significance by inviting it as guest nation to the G20 summit last year. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who participated in the summit, is reciprocating the gesture by now hosting Modi. Talking the Q, Brazil has invited Nigeria to the G20 summit this year. The South Africa may do so next year. Nigeria has thus indeed arrived on the world stage. It is especially pleased with India's leadership role that resulted in the African Union securing permanent membership of G20. Nigeria's entry into BRICS as a partner state is further proof of its growing heft. Preparatory work has already been completed to elevate the India-Nigeria relationship. In Jan, Foreign Minister Jaishankar visited Nigeria to co-chair the Joint Commission meeting and held wide-ranging discussions with key stakeholders. Yet on the economic side, there are challenges. Bilateral trade has declined from a peak of $13.95 billion in 2021 to 2022 to $7.89 billion in 2023 to 2024. This is partly due to India buying Russia. This is partly due to India buying Russian oil at a discounted price rather than Nigerian crude from spot markets, and partly due to Nigerian banning rice imports. However, India's export of engineering and pharmaceutical goods has much potential for bilateral trade. Areas such as agriculture, green energy, healthcare, and digital cooperation also show promise. In this context, there is need to expand India's investment commitment of over $27 billion. Development cooperation too can be scaled up. Over 200 Indian companies based on Nigeria are regarded as the biggest foreign employer in the country. Besides, besides the 60,000 strong Indian community has been making a useful contribution to bilateral relations. Defense ties represent another significant pillar. The National Defense Academy at Kaduna and Naval War College, Port Harcourt are fine examples of defense cooperation between the two nations, buttressed by regular dialogue, exchange of training facilities, and Nigeria's purchase of Indian defense equipment. Strategic cooperation is now being piloted through a periodic dialogue between NSAs. Ajit Doval recently hosted the latest round. The dialogue focused on foreseeing a close partnership to counter threats from terrorism, extremism, and radicalization through cyberspace, international crime, arms and drug trafficking, and a practical program to enhance maritime security. During Manmohan Singh's 2007 visit to Nigeria, four agreements were signed and an understanding was reached to conclude nine additional agreements. Several of these agreements are nearing finalization and a few will be signed during Modi's visit. The leaders now need to institute an effective mechanism to monitor progress in implementing our agreements. Greater environments of affects business chambers should also be in place. Finally, financial support should be extended to universities and think tanks to undertake studies on India-Nigeria relations and ensure dissemination of such efforts. Greater engagement at the people-to-people level would yield rich dividends in the long term. Now, news. from matter to consciousness to supreme cognition. What is the meaning of the term Purush? The first meaning is the entity that lies quiescent in the psychophysical structure of another entity is called Purush. You may have noticed that different people perform various tasks in a house preparing for a marriage ceremony. However, the head of the family doesn't do any specific task but supervises the proper completion of all tasks. Similarly, Purush cognitive faculty lies hidden in the physical body, without which no organ of the body can function. The second meaning is that the entity that resides before all other entities is Purush. The import of the above definitions is the same. Param Purush is the supreme reflecting principles. You may have thought about the primordial cause of this creation. Early humans had an undeveloped intellect. To them, rain for the dawn and rice were symbols of gods and goddesses. The matter was of paramount importance. Lord towards humans realized that Param Purush is the supreme core of creation. Nine nature had incidents and the five fundamental factors. Combination of all these was thought to be the supreme core of creation. While trying to discover the original cause of creation, we thought it must be the eternal time force. However, when the intellect prevailed, we discovered this hypothesis was incorrect because time is the mental measurement of the motility of action. If there is no action, there is no question of any measurement of time. If the moon doesn't move around the earth, no question of days, months, or years can arise. Hence, time is from the original cause, yet out of inquisitiveness, human beings continue to search for the ultimate cause of creation. A question arose in their minds which natural the ultimate cause. The answer is no Prakriti, the supreme operative principles functions according to the limited freedom that Purush, the supreme cognitive faculty, had granted it. Purush is the transcendental identity. Prakriti is merely the immanent power of Purush. The style in which Purush functions is called nature. Nature cannot act independently and thus cannot be regarded as the absolute cause of creation. The supreme reflecting plate, the instructional cause of the universe's metamorphosis lies in Prakriti's three principles. Prakriti is an entity that acts, however, it cannot be the material cause or the efficient cause because there is no scope for any moral principle behind its actional faculty. Shakti or energy is a blind force if not supported by praja, if not supported by prasna, intellect. It is always crude and static. The cognitive principle is both the material cause and the efficient cause of creation. In the flow of creation, the cognitive principle is also inseparably associated with the creative force. Hence, only the unmanifested supreme cognition, which is above both the cognitive principle and the operative force, can be the supreme reflecting principle. When we reach both Shara and Akshara, mutable and immutable in the path of synthesis towards the one, we notice that in a previous stage both of them have emanated from unmanifested Nirakshara, supreme cognition. This unmanifested supreme cognition is the supreme reflecting principle. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, ministers, managers, doctors, directors, I once again thank all of you for your presence today, for listening about our nation and nationality. Let us go through Guru Nanak Dev's Prakash Parab that was celebrated yesterday all over the world, especially in Haryana and Punjab. Guru Nanak Dev's Prakash Purab, Golden Temple shines with devotion. CM Bhagwant Maan is Sikh devotees gather around a bus carrying Guru Granth Sahib during a religious procession on the occasion of the birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev at Nankana Sahib in the Punjab province of Pakistan on Friday. News from Amritsar. A large number of devotees paid obeisance at the Golden Temple on the occasion of Prakash Parab birth anniversary of the founder of Sikhism, Guru Nanak Dev on Friday. To mark the occasion, the Golden Temple, Akal Takht and Gurdwara Baba Atal Rai Sahib were illuminated by the ceremonial Deepmala lighting of lamps was organized at these sacred places. The vow of the Akhand Path was performed at Gurdwara Manji Sahib, Diwan Hall, Azuri, Ragis from Sachkhand, Golden Temple led by Bhai Harvinder Singh performed Gurbani Kirtan. Prominent among others who were present included Akal Takht, Jathedar Gyani Ranveer Singh and Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee President Harjinder Singh Dhami. Meanwhile, an Australian resident and his family donated a bus with palki for the transportation of Shri Guru Granth Sahib. The keys of the bus were handed over to the officials of the SCGC, including former General Secretary Rajendra Singh Mehta by Jatendra Singh Uppal and his family members. At Nankana Sahib, Park delivers on pilgrim safety. Yudhvir Rana from Amritsar, a highly protected celebratory atmosphere when thousands of Sikh pilgrims gather at Gurudwara Janam Sthan in Nankana Sahib on Friday to mark Guru Nanak Dev's Prakash Purab underscore Pakistan efforts to ensure the safety of international alternatives of during the birth anniversary event of Sikhism's founder, steeped in religious power and tradition. The celebrations include a Nagar Kirtan at the birthplace of Guru Nanak, Pakistan Sikh Gurudwara Prabandhan Committee PSGPC President Ramesh Singh Arora, who is also Pakistani Punjab's provincial minister for minority affairs, described the occasion as a deeply scared day for Sikhs worldwide, worldwide considering which the Nankana Sahib administration had declared a public holiday to honor Guru Nanak. The key dignitaries in attendance included Pakistan's Federal Minister Chaudhry Sadiq Minority, members of the Pakistani Punjab Assembly, and delegations from the UK, US, and Australia. among with officials from the evacuees, trustee, board, and PSGPC such as Satwan Singh and Tara Singh, Nankana Sahib's Deputy Commissioner, Mohammad Taslim Akhtar Rao talked about the security measures for the 60,000 odd pilgrims. He said we have deployed 3,000 security personnel and additional staff of 700, including paramedics, to give the visitor a safe and seamless experience. There is no specific threat, but we are prepared for any eventually eventuality given the scale of the event. The significance of security has grown amidst strained relations between India and Pakistan. India recently declined to send its cricket and kabaddi teams to Pakistan for upcoming championships. Trophy and kabaddi matches scheduled in Qatar, Lahore, and Bahawalpur, citing security concerns. The Nankana Sahib administration has worked to provide Sikh pilgrims with a welcoming environment, aiming to strengthen cross-border ties despite political tensions. Rao claimed the efforts were designed to ensure that visitors left with positive memories of their pilgrimage to Pakistan. Guru Purab joy comes to House of Shiva. Sidhupur Ludhiana in a heart-warming display of Punjab's legacy of brotherhood and mutual respect. The Hindu majority and Sikh minority of this village came together to celebrate Guru Purab at a Shiva temple. Ranjit Singh, a Sikh candidate, General Secretary of the Hindu Temple Committee, shared with TOI how the Sikh tradition had started with Shri Muktidham Shiva Mandir itself in 2009 on Guru Nanak Dev's 515th birth anniversary. Since then, we have celebrated not only Guru Purab but also Baisakhi, Shivratri, Janmashtami, and Durga Puja. Together, we also organize the Shabir, a sweet water langar on Guru Arjan Dev's Shahidi Divas, Martyrdom Day. He said, united for the festival. Sidhupur is home to 2,000 people, mostly migrant factory workers from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, with Hindus forming 85% of its population and Sikhs making up the remaining 15%. Despite this demographic divide, both communities join for the festivals in spirit of harmony. For this year's Guru Purab, they decorated the temple with lights, balloons, and pictures of Guru Nanak Dev. A ceremonial lighting of 555 diyas added to the atmosphere as devotee prepared Metha ka prasad. Celebrating coincided with uh, community langar. This is how our festivals are celebrated in India with the message of love, universal peace, tranquility of heart, as it is said about our festivals, functions, parties that we celebrate at the different occasions in India and abroad. Numberless people are today employing and performing in the form of Indianness. because of its spiritual human values. Our India is known by its spiritualism, how we have grown up science to mega science. It is all by the blessings and graces of Lord God. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much.